tape is back on. Would anyone else from the public wish to be heard? If not, before we go into executive session, I want to discuss with the members of the committee and the public a letter that we would like to send to the West Morris Regional High School Board. Basically, we'd like a follow-up to ask for them to supply the information that we asked for at the summit in June, which is a 2010-11 actual line item expenditures by school, 2011-12 budget line item expenditures by school, a narrative explanation of the line items included in the financial summaries, explanations for any differences between the funding levels by program, the 2010-11 actuals, and the 2011-12 budget expenses not allocated to either school enumerated and explained. And we understand that they may not be able to track it exactly the way we asked, but it's essential in our opinion that we have this information so that we can make some decisions as to what these numbers are and demonstrate, in our opinion, the board's commitment to fairness of expenditure per pupil. So I'll ask for comments from the committee as to whether or not we would like to send this letter.
Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Reed.
Just reading here, it said they had agreed to provide this information to us at that time.
Yes, and Mr. Colley has asked for it again.
I would like to say, twice when they've come in and made budget presentations here, when I have asked questions, I was assured that I would get answers, and I never received answers to any of those questions. It appears to be a pattern. I totally agree with sending this letter.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Colley.
I appreciate you putting this draft together. I would ask that you copy all the other mayors of the regional school district, including Washington Township, and encourage them to send the same letter. They will also be equally interested that there is equitable expenditure per pupil. And if they aren't, I think that would be a real question for the residents to ask them. There's a lot of talk about these mayor meetings. Certainly it's appropriate to have private meetings, but it seems these meetings are going off on a tangent. And those meetings should be open to the public at this time of year. It's not been handled well, and I certainly support you in that matter as well.
Mr. Mayor, I'm wondering if we might devise a way to share this with as many members of the public as possible, possibly setting up a town hall meeting where we could discuss the findings if we should receive them.
I think that's an excellent opportunity, and I'd like to suggest that we work on focusing a couple of sessions where we can basically do what Mr. Strobel did, was educate everyone, but we need to have the correct information to disseminate and not incorrect information. And I understand there to be more information forthcoming. As soon as we have that, I think we should find a venue and ask for a public meeting for input and explanations. So I agree with you, Mrs. Thomas.
Mr. Mayor, not only do I agree with this letter and the suggestion that it be communicated with the other mayors, because I think that's a great idea, I also think that frankly this should be put in the form of an open letter and sent to the Observer Tribune to see if we can get it published, because the more of this process that is done out in the open and visible to all, I think the greater benefit it'll have to the people in all the towns.
Thank you.
That's a great idea.
Right. Okay, I'll clean this letter up and submit it for final draft. There's a couple of boo-boos in it, and we'll get it going.
That'd be great, Frank. Okay. There's another issue that we thought we were going to bring up tonight too, and that was your idea about having a meeting at the 50th.
Yes. We would like to have a meeting, maybe a fundraiser, afternoon, maybe wine and cheese or cocktails, sometime in the beginning of, end of September, beginning of October, so that we could take a look at the property and move that process along with the Pitney Transition Committee. Thoughts on that from my fellow members?
I think it's good.
Would a Sunday seem to work best?
It all depends whether I have an antique show that Sunday or not. We haven't applied to this weekend, so yes.
Would this be in one of the buildings?
depending on what the Pitney family will allow us to do, we'd certainly like to have it inside and outside. We thought the house, if they would make it available, or we could have the grounds and the house.
Great idea.
We also need to formalize, I think, a few more
Right.
Pitney subcommittees as well in the meantime, so perhaps we can have that ready by the first meeting in September, you think?
Right, let's put that on the schedule, because I know a lot of people have voiced their willingness to serve on some of those committees, and I think we've gotten those resumes or interests, so we'll put that on for our first meeting in September. Is there any other things that need to be discussed this evening? If not, I want to thank everyone for joining us this evening. Please enjoy the rest of the month of August, and we'll see you September 7th, Okay, yes. Before you leave, I anticipate 1 hour to 1.25 hours in closed executive session.
An hour and 15 minutes now.
Great. If it's gonna be an hour and 15 minutes, I got 3 minutes.